Thank you, and good morning to the Chairman and Commissioners. To begin with, I'd like to rebut Mr. Bibbich's assertion that 95th percentile is wanted by the ISPs just to game the Midnight Madness system. I have a traffic management graph on page 2, as well as a quote from Alistair Weiss, CTO of the UK ISP PlusNet, who implements the unlimited off-peak scheme to ensure a great customer experience during peak busy hours between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Conversely, by managing peer-to-peer file sharing during peak hours and encouraging customers to share files at night for free, PlusNet is able to get better utilization of its network bandwidth. Shifting file sharing to off-peak hours when there is unused bandwidth capacity has a dramatic effect. It lets PlusNet keep its costs down by deferring expensive bandwidth capacity upgrades. For the record, the reference to this quote seems to have fallen off the page, but I have sent an updated version of the document to Linda just now. Anyhow, while I'd like to see Mr. Bibbich's graphs, I don't believe it is possible to draw a definitive conclusion, as there may be more examples that show the technique is used to save expenditure, not incentive. Many parties here have agreed that peak traffic is more immediate and expensive to augment, while any means to mitigate that and offset congestion should be rewarded and not monetized. The size of the peak cap and what happens to service when thresholds are hit are also extremely important. In cases where 20 to 40 gigabytes are used, it is clear that this is a plan for the light peak user designed to be utilized, mostly during off-peak. A large enough peak cap, like in TechSavvy's case, will result in little need for off-hours use, as they've stated. In PlusNet's case, this does not game the system after midnight, as the graphs show. Next, I'd like to clarify more about the underlying cost structure, which the Chairman asked me about in Phase 1. Australia does have a similar and long history of high cost and usage caps, but the Australian model has caps going up and competition increasing, while the Canadian model has caps going down and competition potentially disappearing. However, the key difference in the growth of Australian ISPs to be able to challenge and supplant incumbents and start earning their own infrastructure is the lack of any mandated one-cost-fits-all billing model as proposed this hearing. Telstra still sold and leased wholesale to TPG, iiNet, and others at both 95th percentile, at lower speed ADSL 1 first and then ADSL 2, and also at usage rates, often designing plans and network management around all billing options available while they were growing prior to the regulatory reform in 2006-2007. Budcom also estimates that in early 2011, competition in Australia had increased to around 450 ISPs, providing services ranging from dial-up through DSL, fiber, and wireless. Canadian ISPs are forced to lease the network at this time and, for example, are restricted from the CO, and that is the difference. If there was regulated access to allow third parties to invest in their own DSLANs, POIs, etc., regulated access could also help Canada avoid situations like Distributel's 6-month wait. iiNet's rise to the number 2 position in Australia, displacing the incumbent Optus, was characterized by 2 factors. They were the first provider in 2007 to provide naked DSL access, and their continual investment in adding faster DSLANs than the incumbent Telstra, while TPG rose to number 3 with consistently higher usage caps than competitors. Telstra, however, sat still, collecting record profits while underinvesting and slashing jobs. In some cases, Australian third parties have access to international links not controlled by the incumbents Telstra or Optus. For example, TPG is owned by Sol, which in turn owns one of the largest non-Telstra networks in Australia, now owning one of the international transit lines leading out of Australia after the buyout of pipe networks. The cost savings may have influenced the ability to offer unlimited for the first time in Australia's history. Today, Australia implements the result that the Commission seems to desire, having all parties, incumbents, or third parties become true partners in the network. There may yet be a bright future for Canada's third-party ISPs. Thank you.